How about that? I think that should help clear up the problem. I think you should be able to hear me now. If you're on YouTube listening, you should be able to hear me at this point in time. I believe that that should be all right. And we'll get some comments that can go straight up on the stage. Hopefully that clears up the problem and everybody can hear me now. So, good now. Thank you very much, Steelers Freak. We're going to put you down as an associate producer. There is no pay, but on your deathbed, you will receive total consciousness, as somebody once said famously in a movie. I want to talk about Mike Tomlin. Obviously, it has been a very rough year for the embattled 19-year head coach, and it is an embattlement at this point in time. Whether there's people in the media that will tell you, hey, he doesn't care. When Adam Schefter is going on Pat McAfee and saying that there's a real possibility Mike's going to take a TV job or be coaching somewhere next year, that's when you know that the heat has finally found the kitchen for Mike Tomlin. And this has never been a personal thing. I want people to understand that. I kind of addressed a little bit of that yesterday. And, look, it's easy to pull the race card at times. He's a minority head coach. You don't like the guy, it's because of his skin color. It's completely not the case. And I think the vast majority of people that have been on the side of wanting some change or Tomlin to do something drastically different that changes the course of where this football team has been the past 8 years and potentially 9 now, okay, without a playoff win. It's about that this team has struggled to produce a victory in the postseason. Again, we sit here and we talk about Mike Tomlin and we say to ourselves, hey, win some playoff games. Give us a sense that, things are changing or doing something different. The conservative offensive play calling that they've had the last, I hate to say it, since Todd Haley left, they've just not been good offensively. They've been very conservative. Whereas Tomlin, and again, the weapons were a little bit different, obviously in the Killer Bees era, but nonetheless, Mike Tomlin deserves a little bit better from the fan base than saying, let's hope they lose Sunday night so Tomlin can, finally make his way somewhere else. I want it to take its course naturally. All right. The course of this coaching change should happen in some sort of natural way. And if that is they win Sunday and they get blown out in the first round of the playoffs, it will be the same record that has been played in 4 of the 5 previous seasons and since 2016's AFC Championship blowout loss at New England, right? Where they just looked completely unprepared and got just boat raced in Foxborough. And since then, they have not been competitive in any really of the football games. I mean, a quarter and maybe 20 minutes of play in Kansas City where they got a defensive touchdown from TJ Watt. And then the Chiefs, I think they put 36 straight on the board, right? Last year is just throttling by the Baltimore Ravens on the road. And then the previous season at Buffalo and the playoff loss in COVID during, the COVID year at home to the Cleveland Browns. And we can go on and on and on and talk about all of these terrible losses that they've suffered, and most of them on the road. It should happen naturally. If Mike Tomlin's tenure here in Pittsburgh is going to come to an end, it should come in a very natural way. They get beat handily either Sunday or they win somehow Sunday, and then they draw Houston and are punchless. I mean, they'll get DK Metcalf back, and they may have TJ Watt. I know that Tomlin in his press conference today did mention that TJ's coming along. I don't know if he'll actually play or not. I think that'll probably be a very much game time decision for Tomlin and company. But the truth of the matter is that, for Mike Tomlin, if the Adam Schefter story has weight to it, and I got to believe it does, right? I got to believe that Adam Schefter is probably not putting that out there so he can get some clicks. You're not going on a show like Pat McAfee and making a statement like that if you haven't talked to somebody on the inside of that building that's telling you something significant. And, for Mike Tomlin, if that is the case, then good for Mike to really take a hard look at what has come to pass here in Pittsburgh under his leadership. What has come to pass, and as I've said, I put this on my X page. It's pinned. You can go take a look at it. I've said this, before. He has a job, and plenty of others had said the same as well. He has a job until he doesn't want one here. He has a job until he doesn't want one here. And maybe, just maybe after that game on Sunday, some conversations came up again after what happened in the Buffalo loss and all of the roar, and then to reel off 3 straight and to quietly watch all that subside. It all kind of came back again in the dud that they provided the fans and as a franchise against a 3-win team. And yet another, not necessarily feather in Tomlin's cap, where he has now lost 5 straight games to teams with sub 500 records with at least 8 more losses than wins. How do you even make that up? How does that even come to pass? Think about that. He tied an NFL record. Somebody, I don't know who looked that up, but good on them. Good on them. And as I've said, find me another head coach in the history of the National Football League that has won a Super Bowl, right? Find me another coach that has won a Super Bowl in the history of the National Football League that put together 8 straight seasons without a playoff win and kept their job. There is none. There is none. Right? No, that person does not exist in NFL coaching lore. Not Don Shula, not Tom Landry, not Chuck Noll, right? That won a Super Bowl, okay? I want to stress that. Find me an NFL coach that went 8 seasons after winning a Super Bowl that did not produce a playoff win where he kept his job. That person does not exist unless you're Mike Tomlin. Unless you're Mike Tomlin. And I've seen some interesting tweets today from some people, talking about this whole nature where things of complacency, some things of complacency have come up, with the Steelers and the Steeler way and coaching stability and 3 straight wins against average teams won't feed the beast. You're right, Steelers freak. It certainly will not. And by the way, if you're watching right now and you have a comment or a question, you're welcome to drop it, whether it's on X, if you're on our YouTube channel, if you're watching us on It's a Wrap Sports. Thank you for joining us this evening. You're welcome to come on and check us out. It doesn't look like I'm on my X page tonight. I don't know what that is all about. We were live on X last night, but for some reason, I am not showing us live on X this evening. So much to learn in terms of this system that I use, but we will continue to try to work our way through all of this. So again, if you look at the Mike Tomlin era here in Pittsburgh, it has been quite an interesting one. But the last 7 or 8 years have been, especially the last 5. You had your 2016 season, and then you had a couple of losing seasons, and then you had just mediocrity and just the blowout losses, and it has gotten to this point where the fan base wants a change. Now they don't dictate things, right? Ownership dictates all of that, but maybe ownership is now starting to get to a point where there's got to be something different or something has to change. And maybe the conversations are getting to the point now where an Adam Schefter goes on a show like Pat McAfee's and said, oh, by the way, Mike Tomlin's thinking about taking a TV job or maybe coaching somewhere else next year. With one game left to go in the regular season and his option for 2027 hanging in the balance by March. I said this weeks ago when this all kind of came up when they lost to Buffalo. This decision to, give him the option year will be made within the first week once the season is concluded. I don't think the Steelers will wait much longer. Now, they may wait a while until March to make that decision. We got Lance in the Mon Valley tonight. Shout out from the Mon Valley, Lance 33. Thank you very much. I'm kind of a Mon Valley guy. I grew up in Braddock Hills, just a straight shot down Ardmore Boulevard, and boom, you're right there. My father worked in East McKeesport. I lived in Turtle Creek for a while. Good to hear from you, Lance, in the Mon Valley, shouting us out this evening here on Pittsburgh Sports Tonight. Back to Tomlin. Back to this whole scenario. And again, we will have some of his press conference hopefully here in about 10 minutes. I want to kind of talk a little bit further through all of this. The Steelers and Tomlin will probably come to some sort of understanding within the first week of the season being concluded. I give them a week, maybe 2 weeks, right? The decision doesn't have to come until March. You're not going to have them as a lame duck. You're heading into a draft where it's here in Pittsburgh. So the Steelers want to have that stability factor in mind. And for Mike Tomlin, it's going to be up to, I think once he and Art talk, once he and Art sit down and kind of figure this out, and maybe just maybe, they've been having fruitful conversations towards this whole point to where we're at, where he, has the confidence to, say something to somebody where Schefter gets this, information and then goes on a national show that's watched by a lot of people, and this story starts to kind of take some legs to it. Now, again, kind of on the back burner, we've got a game to play on Sunday, and, look, he's done well in primetime games, and as I've stated, this is a good spot for Mike Tomlin. He is in a good spot because his teams perform best when there's no pressure and nobody expects them to win, right? Does anybody really expect them to win? Vegas thinks that Baltimore right now is 6 points better than the Steelers as a 3-point favorite. So there's that to keep in mind as well. Tough decision on Jones now also with his expensive fifth-year option. That'll all play out after the coaching decision is made. And apparently down south in the town of Monongahela. Monongahela or Monongahela? Which one is that? How do you say it? Thanks for joining us this evening. A nice little crowd joining us on X and on a couple of the channels that we have. I'm just a little disappointed that my X page is not up and running. I think I think what I can do is this. This is where I have learned on the fly on what to do here. I got to go click this, and then I'm going to go do this. Once. All right, we're going to do this, and then here's what I'm going to do. Watch this. All right, now you can. Now I'm going to have this on my page because I had to go to somebody else's page and retweet it or repost it. Okay, so anyhow, let's talk a little. The home of Joe Montana, absolutely. Not too far, Denora, PA. Home of Ken Griffey Sr. and Ken Griffey Jr. That's pretty close by as well. Okay, so let's talk about Mike Tomlin just a little bit longer, and then we'll get to some of the press conference. I don't want to play a ton of it, but I want to give you 5 or 6 good minutes from the very beginning, and we'll reconvene and give you some thoughts on all of that. I do want to talk a little bit about Stephon Diggs, some disturbing news coming out of Minneapolis today with him. There's certainly news there. We've got the bowl games being played. You got the college football playoff that's taking place. We'll talk a little bit about that as well, perhaps towards the very end. What would be sweet is not only if the Steelers win, that by winning you end Baltimore's season. Mean Green checking in via via our YouTube page. Thank you, very host Stan the Man Musial. Zig, my man Zig, checking in with us today. Zig, you're the best. Zig Fracassi, of course, of Sirius XM's NFL Radio, and of course a key member of our pregame coverage every single week. Yes, that cradle down there has produced some pretty talented athletes over the decades. One more point about Tomlin, and then we'll play a little bit of the press conference, and we'll hopefully have a few of you sticking around. Again, I don't want to play too much of the press conference, but I do want to try to bring 5-7 minutes of the first few minutes of the press conference, because I think it's important to hear a little bit about what he was talking about today. He mentioned some of the injuries. Obviously, Darnell Washington having surgery today. He's out for the season. He had the bone broken in his arm, so that's definitely a tough one there, because you need a guy like that. Not the pass catching has been great, but he's a tremendous blocker, obviously, in the run game, and so the Steelers suffer a little bit there as well. But I guess the last thing with Tomlin is that people should not take this personally, right? I think sometimes it can get a little personal for some people. I think Mike has been a professional since day one. He has won a ton of football games here. If this is going to be the end, it was a great run, and arguably the greatest of any football coach in Steelers history. It's hard to argue never had a losing season. Hard to argue that. You can talk about some of the other deficiencies, if you will. 200 wins obviously puts him in a high echelon, and you can talk about who the greatest was. It could come down to Chuck Noll and Mike Tomlin, with Bill Cowher sitting in the third spot right now. But look, 19 seasons. If this is the last of it, whether they win or lose Sunday, they win, they get into the playoffs, they get beat, he calls it quits. They get beat Sunday, he calls it quits, or decides he wants to go somewhere else, do something else next year. An incredible run by Mike Tomlin. And that's just the fact of the matter. So let's see if we can bring you a little bit of the Mike Tomlin press conference from earlier today. Let's see if I can do this properly. I really want to make sure I can do this, but I don't know if I can. And let's see. That's not it. Let's see. No, that's not it. Ah, boy. I don't think I'm going to be able to do this. No. That's not it. Oh, well, I thought I was going to be able to bring the Mike Tomlin presser in for us to have some of that today, but I don't believe that is going to happen. Really thought I had this figured out, but I guess I don't. Yeah, I really wanted to play this for you folks. I'm going to figure all of this out eventually. All right, well, your browser has blocked your screen. Click the screen icon in your address to allow access and restart the page. Let's see. Your browser has blocked your screen. Click the screen icon. Ooh, I hope people can see me. I hope you folks can see me. Boy. All right. Well, if you can't see me, let me know. But if you can see me, I'm just going to continue to keep talking, because it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to bring the press conference in for some reason. I will continue to work on all of this. I'm going to get better at this. I swear I am. I've kind of learned how to load up some videos, and I've gotten better at some of the other things where Zig is blocked. That's weird. That's just strange. I don't know how that even happened. Well, again, when you just start kind of pressing buttons, sometimes it gets a little weird in here. See you and hear you fine. Okay, thank you very much, Lance. I appreciate that. I just wish I could figure out how to bring this video on. It really would make my life a lot better, and I think it would improve the show. But I have some things to learn, clearly. Clearly, I have some things to learn. And I will get to those eventually here. Image and files, slides or PDFs, extra camera, video file, a screen share. Let's see if the screen, it's not the screen share. Oh, yes. Here we go. Let's get this and some audio.
World and a thoughtful plan, and that we position our guys to take advantage of opportunities, and if and when they do present themselves, that we make the plays.
Mike, how did DJ look to you in his first week back at practice last week?
Man, I thought he looked great, man. I know he was glad to be out there with his teammates. I think that's a component of it that we don't talk often enough about when someone is injured or out, the isolation component of it. We're a communal group, man. This is a team sport definitively. And so more than anything, I thought he displayed an excitement that comes with being back out there with his teammates.
Last week, when we talked to you, mentioned what Roman Wilson, when he was asked about how to replace DK, and I think later in the week you made similar comments about Roman, yet he only played 9 snaps. What happened? Will that change this week?
Particularly when you're not winning third downs, I don't think anyone plays as much as they would like. We've had this conversation many times about running the football. I felt really good about our run plan. I thought we had an opportunity to really control the game through those means, but and we didn't have a bad running day, but we certainly didn't have as good a running day as we could have had we converted more possession downs. And I think the same could be said about levels of participation for guys like Roman and thus their ability to impact the game in a positive way.
Mike, you guys had 16 targets between
Okay. Hopefully you can hear me. And I guess the sound was kind of in and out there, but nonetheless, there you go. A little bit of Mike Tomlin's presser today. I thought the first few minutes were were interesting. He certainly, the comment about his windshield being bigger than his rear view mirror. I like that a lot. And thanks, Steeler Freak. I feel like I am the Antichrist of podcasting. At 56 years old, most people my age aren't doing this kind of thing, and especially from their basement. But I wanted to start talking a little bit again, having done talk radio, in and out of my career off and on for many years. It was just another opportunity for me to add some more programming, and I'm going to get it figured out. Like I said, the little technical issues will come to pass. But we get into the new year, I think I'll be heading in the right direction once I start to figure out some of these things. So, okay, so there's a little bit of Mike Tomlin's press conference from earlier today over on the south side of Pittsburgh as the Steelers get prepared to take on the Baltimore Ravens. He mentioned, they didn't have a bad day running the football, and they didn't. They averaged 5.5 yards a carry. And you're young at heart, Steelers Freak, for being 61. I still have some fire in my belly. So, I like a challenge. I like to learn. And as I have said before, if I would have listened to Andrew Filipponi 11 years ago when I was working over at the Fan and not happy over there, I'd probably be a lot better off. But that's the way things life has its twists and turns, and the road continues to twist and turn until it comes to an end. Hopefully, the road has a little bit more pavement ahead of me. So you hear Mike Tomlin talking about the running game. They didn't do a bad job, but obviously they threw the ball 39 times. 39 times. Aaron Rodgers, 39. I said Sunday in a pregame show, 25, and they're good. 25, and they're good. And but that wasn't the case. Obviously, it was not the case. They did not go that route for whatever reason. That 3rd and 4 where they ran the ball on that 3 and out there in the second half. It was in the fourth quarter, I believe. The 3rd and 4, and they're running the football. I didn't understand it. They had 2nd and 2, and they ran the ball. Okay, they lost 2 yards. 3rd and 4, manageable. They ran again, and they had no gain. So, that's partly Arthur Smith, and you got to give the Browns defense some credit as well for, stepping up and stopping them as much as they did. I mean, they didn't give up a touchdown, and they gave up 0 points in the second half, did the Browns, whose social media has just been trolling the Steelers for like the last 2 days. When you only have 4 wins, your social media team's got to take advantage of the victories when they can get them, and especially if it's at the hands of a bitter rival like Pittsburgh has been. So we'll see about how the Steelers attack the Ravens on Sunday. What do you think the Steelers are going to do offensively? I'd be curious for those of you that are hanging out. If you want to leave a comment, you can do so. We'll happily address those as well. I'm going to take this till about 7:45 tonight. We're going to end a little bit early with the new year here coming. I do want to take some time this evening and wrap up a few things with my family and get myself prepared for tomorrow and the new year. I don't know if anybody's got anything exciting planned. I will be keeping myself bunkered in and probably bedtime by hopefully 9:30, 10. 9:30, 10. My kids want to go to New York. They want to go see the New York Times Square thing. I have never had a desire to ever go up there for New Year's Eve. I don't know about you. We thought about going, my wife and I, my second wife, I should say, my current wife, years ago, we talked about going downtown to Pittsburgh and watching the New Year's Eve event. And that just, that kind of went away as well. New Year's is just not, I think 20 years ago, it just kind of, it didn't become a thing anymore. It certainly isn't a thing right now. And days like today are the days where I wish I was still living down south. I miss the weather down south this time of year. My friends in Florida rub it in my nose daily with the updates. They send the little pictures of all the, sunny and 76 from Sarasota. Terrible day. Last couple of days, weather-wise, has not been great. The snow, of course, last night, early this morning, and today finally stopping. It reminds you about why living up north year-round is it's a challenge, especially when you move south for a while and then you come back. So some other comments coming in here. Let's see what Steeler Freak says. The Browns can provide a great pass rush with DBs who can play man-to-man. That hurt Rodgers and the Steelers. Yeah, well, I look, in the first game, they certainly were able to figure that out. The DK Metcalf loss was a killer. It was an absolute killer. And then they lost Darnell Washington. I can't remember what part of the game that was. I think it was in the second half when they lost Washington. It might have been before half. But, but obviously you lose a player like that who, in his third year is, I don't want to say it's a breakout year, but, they didn't use him much in his first year. I mean, it was a blocking tight end when he played last year. They threw him the ball a couple of times. I've been screaming since they drafted him to put that kid out there and throw the ball to him. I saw him play in Georgia in his senior year, and the kid's, just amazing hands, big paws on a puppy. He I was excited when they drafted him, and they really didn't use him the first 2 seasons. Now they're using him. Unfortunately, they lost him for Sunday's game against the Ravens. It's going to come down to turnovers and who can run the ball better. And that, that could be a split. Right? Clearly, the Ravens have the advantage at running the football, clearly, with Derrick Henry. And, look, if the Steelers can get 140 yards rushing on Sunday, that'll help. But it ultimately will come down to Aaron Rodgers' play. It'll come down to Aaron Rodgers' play, without a doubt. If he has a good day, the Steelers will have a good day. Defensively, they're going to have to limit Baltimore. And if I go back to the last time they played the Ravens, and if you just give me a few seconds here, which was just 4 weeks ago, as I check out the box score, Baltimore did run the ball fairly effectively, 217 yards. Henry had 94. Keaton Mitchell had 76. And, of course, Lamar Jackson chipped in with 46 yards rushing, 43 yards rushing. So they did chop the Steelers up pretty good running the football, but the Steelers got the victory. The Steelers were able to secure victory 27-22. Can't have another – if the Steelers give up another 200-yard rushing evening to Baltimore Sunday night, I think they lose. How do you stop them? Right? How do you stop them? How do you slow them down? Can you limit them to 160, 170 on the ground? And you got to factor in the whole idea that, what's the passing yardage going to look like on that end? And again, if I just go back to the box score that day and look at what Lamar Jackson, he had 219 yards through the air. He did throw an interception. So, right, this is a fairly even game, right? Even though Baltimore is favored by 3, the tale has yet to be told. Can Aaron Rodgers be better than he was on Sunday? Can this team slow Baltimore down and hold them to a $150 rushing? Right? Who's going to start a quarterback? Is it Snoop Huntley? Is it LJ8? All of that's going to play a factor, right, as we lead up to the event itself. So we will, we'll obviously get there at some point in time, hopefully, and figure this one out. It's remains to be seen. Obviously, we've got 5 days to get there, and hopefully, when we get there, the Steelers have a good game plan in place. Parts of tonight's show are brought to us by Arch Masonry and Restoration. Arch Masonry and Restoration, looking for concrete finishers, bricklayers, and block masons here in the Pittsburgh area. If you know somebody who's not working, tell them to give Arch a call, 412-564-5733, archmasonryinc.com to learn a little bit more. And, of course, Steel City Sunday, of course, brought to us by our good friends at the North Park Lounge, Richland, and the Hilltop Event Center. They do a fantastic job for us every single week, hosting our pregame show and postgame show. I will be doing a postgame show only. Okay, we're going to have 5 hours of coverage Sunday, by the way. For those of you that are still hanging out, I want to let you know that Sunday's coverage of the Steelers and Ravens begins at 3 p.m. 3 p.m. on Sunday. We begin live coverage of the event Trying to book as many guests as we can, like we always do. It is, it is a tough task when you're a new show, but we are talking with some people. We have, of course, our regulars. We've got Zig Fracassi. We've got, obviously Paul Zeiss, Todd Haley, the former offensive coordinator of the Steelers, will be joining us. Mike Osti will be with us as well, managing editor of West Virginia Sports Now. Of course, he writes for Pittsburgh Sports Now, has covered the Steelers, writes nationally for Yard Barker. John Fedko and Jerry DePaula are going to be on the pregame show, duking it out like they always do. So we'll have them to talk as well. I'll have some other guests towards the end of the week. We'll have an update on Friday as to where we stand with guests. But we'll have 5 hours of coverage. We're going to bring you 5 hours of coverage. And, if they win and they get in, we'll have another big show for you planned for the playoff game. We'll continue to keep doing this show through the course of the remainder of the Steelers season. And maybe, just maybe, I'll go to Northern California and Levi Stadium in about, 4 weeks' time, 5 weeks' time, whatever it ends up being, first week of February. I don't think it'll get that far, folks, but you never know. Anyhow, I just wanted to give a good shout out to North Park Lounge Richland and the Hilltop Event Center, Mark Baranowski and the North Park Lounge Restaurant Group. Just tremendous people. They have, they helped me put this thing together in very quick fashion. This show came together 8 days before the first regular season game. And I can tell you right now, 2026 is going to be bigger. 2026 is going to be much bigger. We got a lot planned. I have got plans in place. Once the season is over, once the Steelers season is over, I can start putting some things in motion. And I think come March, I'm going to continue to do this Monday, Tuesday show. We will continue to have a Wednesday night program, the Pittsburgh Sports Desk, that Bill Akins hosts on Wednesday evenings at 8 o'clock right here on our channel and on our Facebook, on our YouTube, and on our X channel. We'll have Pittsburgh Sports Desk every Thursday night at 8 o'clock, Wednesday night at 8 o'clock, and then Gridiron Weekly will continue into the springtime. That'll be a Thursday night show at 8 o'clock. That is also Bill Akins hosting that. Those are his shows. I am happy to host them on my channel. And, of course, the good folks at It's a Wrap Sports. It's a Wrap Sports is our host. We work with Matty B and the crew out in Philadelphia. They are very Philadelphia-centric. They have a couple of Penn State shows. So if you're a Nittany Lions fan, you can check them out. They'll be running a year-end special on December 31st. Running some of the best of our pre-games and post-games and all the shows that It's a Wrap Sports has. Of course, Matty B has his show every single night at 9 o'clock. The Final Word. This is Matty B's channel. I can't do any of this stuff without him. Very knowledgeable in terms of the podcasting world, live broadcasts. I don't want to, people say, oh, it's just a podcast. It's live. We do live programming. I want to do live programming. It is archived on the YouTube channel. I don't put it out in podcast form because the live programming element of it, makes it a bit dated. So, but, you can call it whatever you want. I've got some comments that have kind of come in here. Let's see here. Who else is chatting in here? Let me see. Hold on a second. John is teasing a Super Bowl show. Hello, Ethan is King. Yes, I am teasing a Super Bowl show. I would make the trip out there if they did it. Get Haley on the show back, please. The Steelers need a meat eater, not a leaf eater. Todd will be on the show Sunday, I promise you. You have a very nice format here. Enjoying the content. Lance 33, thank you very much. I'm enjoying doing it. Nothing fancy here, but we're going to continue to grow this, I swear. You do consider this a broadcast. I do too, Ethan. I do too. It's just in my core nature. I'm just I call myself a dinosaur. I've been getting called Unc by a few of my coworkers lately. I work remotely, and they've been calling me Unc, and I finally figured out what that term means. I guess a term of endearment in some ways, but slanderous in others. But nonetheless, I don't I wanted this to be live programming. I think it's important, and I think that there's a space in this market for Pittsburgh sports fans to have something a little different, right? And look, I know what the fans' built-in advantage is 15 years, right? And Andrew was right to tell me that many years ago. He had vision, right? He had a vision, and I look on social media and I see all the different young people half my age with their channels and 50,000, 100,000 followers and tons of views, and that's how they make a living, and that's great. This is not necessarily how I want to make a living. I make a living fairly well during the daytime. This is more of like the vanity project. I've mentioned this a few times. I don't. Let's see. Well, here, let's do this. Maybe you can see the chats now. Well, that's because, Lance, the reason why you can't see them is because I have buttons here that I can press that show the comments or don't show the comments. So if I don't want the comments to be seen at all, I can press that button. But if I want somebody to be able to read your comment, I can do that, right? That's so, that much I've learned. The reason I don't let the comments pop up naturally is because you don't know what somebody may say. I try not to use profanity. I think there's been 2 profane words used since we started broadcasting. And I don't want to work blue. I can work blue and wouldn't mind working blue, but that's for the Rumble channel. That's for political John. I don't want to get into any of that stuff here. I just want to keep this sports related. I have tried to keep all of that stuff off my X page, which I kind of converted from, after having 8 of them. That's my 8th account over on that particular social media site. You could probably figure out why 7 previous ones went up in flames, but we're trying to keep this sports related, and I appreciate everybody's words. Let's see. What if this blows up and you get a job on the Pat McAfee show? That is definitely not happening. I can tell you right now, I'm never going back into traditional broadcasting again. I don't see that happening. I really don't. I have the energy. It'll take off. Colonel Sanders. So funny you say that, Steelers freak. I've had a few friends of mine mention that to me. I think Sanders was 61 when he got Kentucky Fried Chicken going. So maybe I got a few years head start on him, perhaps. This is Pittsburgh Sports Tonight. I'm John Phillips. So pleased you could be joining us here on a Tuesday evening on the 30th of December as we are about to approach 2026. I guess I should count my blessings that I am still here and alive and well. It is nice to be able to talk about sports again with some of you. Before I forget, if you haven't followed us on YouTube or on our X page or on our Facebook page, Instagram, or even TikTok at Steel City Sunday. TikTok has been an interesting platform. I put a video out yesterday. I didn't do anything today. I'll do something tomorrow. I actually had something. I did some quick video today, but I didn't put it out. I did a video yesterday on TikTok, and it got, for me, and I only have about 160 people following me over there right now. The video I did, boy, man, it generated like 25 comments and a bunch of likes and shares and this and that. And it's an interesting platform. To say the least. I guess a lot of people are telling me, at least the people that I know that are on TikTok, and they speak highly of it in terms of its, ability to generate, revenue and views and people watching you. And you got to be active on social media. I'm not dumb. You got to be posting 50, 60, 70 times a day, literally. And things, the more content you put out, obviously the better, but apparently TikTok is the new YouTube. So the videos that I do, if I try to do one a day, I get it over there, and I'm starting to get some more traction over there, which is nice. The YouTube channel has popped off last week. It has been slowly creeping along, but the last couple of weeks we've seen an increase there. We're almost at 100 subscribers. If you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please go over there and give us a like and a follow. Please, that would be very helpful. But we will continue to provide more content and programming. is the main key here. That's the main thing that I want to stress is that this channel, and as I talk to other people that aren't sure, as I told Maddie B yesterday, we had a nice long conversation about 2026 and continuing to work with It's a Wrap Sports, even though I'm planning more things for 2026 and some changes. I'm not going anywhere. I'm fully committed to this. Next week I'll be on the road Monday and Tuesday night. I'll be in South Bend, Indiana, Monday evening. Tuesday I'll be in Cincinnati, and I'll be doing the shows from a hotel room like I was a few weeks ago. I was in New Jersey for a few days. I did shows on Monday and Tuesday from New Jersey. I got my laptop, my headset. I'll take it with me. I will continue to produce this show for an hour each on Mondays and Tuesdays. And as I said, let's see how things unfold in January and February, because I really have a big March planned. I have a big March plan. I really want to put. I'm going to put all this together. I'm a very determined individual at this stage of my life. I don't like to lose. And that's just how I feel about it. It's freaky that they still have a Colonel Sanders live in the KFC commercials. It is. Well, it's a brand. It's a brand. Hello from Virginia. Hi, Karen. Nice to see you. Thank you very much. Also, Ethan, I might have been your first subscriber. You probably were the first subscriber, Ethan. I think it's very possible. So, and I appreciate that. If you're not subscribing, please do so. All right, we're going to wrap things up here on Tuesday evening. Hello, Lizzie. How are you? Oh, my wife's walking up the steps. I will be checking out here in just a few seconds. It's very nice for all of you to come on board and say hello to us this evening and give us a few minutes of your time. Take a vintage Dorset jersey with you from the South Bend show. He did drop 303 on the Irish. He absolutely did. I have to share the picture I have. I won't be able to do it this time, Lance, but I'll try to remind myself next week to get the picture I took of Joe Montana holding a Guinness in one of the hotels I stayed at that in South Bend. It was quite a bumping scene. Of course, the Irish were coming to play on that Saturday. I was out there on a Thursday evening. I got to go back out there for a big job that I was looking for, and now I have found. But yeah, he did drop 303. Of course, that game was at Pitt Stadium. I will mention that. Okay. I want to thank everybody for all your comments. I have lost, Ethan, but I don't like to lose. And I don't say that in the sense that I'm competing against somebody. I'm more a sense I'm competing against myself. Right? I'm competing against myself. I want to win. And that means putting a plan in place and executing and making that plan happen. This show is not going to happen 10 days before the start of the season, and I kicked myself back into gear, and within 48 hours we had North Park Lounge, we had Arch Masonry, and I'm proud to say that the people that are on the show are paid. I pay everybody that's a regular. I'm not doing this for money. People don't, if they can't make it, they don't get paid. That's okay. I'm not doing this for fame and fortune. I'm doing this because I want to win, because I got something to say. And I still think I can entertain and draw some people out of the woodwork and get a reaction. That's what it's about. That's what I loved about radio. That's why I do miss radio. I've said that. And, I maybe never say never, but that's why I like the live aspect of something like this. That's why I think if I can provide good content and programming, and we improve and we continue to show you that, we're worthy of your time when we're on the air, hopefully you'll continue to keep coming back and spread the word. And before you know it, we got a whole bunch of people watching us. I appreciate all the comments this evening, folks. Okay, that's going to put a wrap on this. There will be no show tomorrow. There'll be programming, and just a quick programming reminder before I let you folks go. Tomorrow here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network, starting tomorrow at 8 a.m., the best of It's a Wrap Sports, all the shows through the course of the year. We'll have some of our pregame shows mixed up in there as well from Matty B, so you'll have a chance to check some of that stuff out. We'll be back on Sunday at 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock on Sunday from the North Park Lounge, Richland. Okay, you're going to absolutely want to be around for it. We're going to have 5 hours of coverage. We're going to get you ready for Steelers and Ravens. It is going to be the big one, the one that settles the AFC North. The winner goes to the playoffs and the loser stays home. We'll have it all for you on Sunday with the entire cast and crew. Mike Ostie, Paul Zeiss, Todd Haley. We'll have Anthony Halkias from Steeler Nation. We'll have Sean Fedko and Jerry DePaula, Zig Fracassi, our NFL insider from SiriusXM's NFL Radio, and other guests. We'll talk to you then. Until Sunday, Happy New Year, everybody. Stay safe out there. Bless all of you for checking in this evening. My name is John Phillips, and this has been Pittsburgh Sports Tonight here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network.